Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Keep going. Good afternoon. It's Delores Jones, your comeback coach. And you know I always have something for you. Something special. Even when it's not your birthday. But today I want to talk to you about listening to the wrong people or listening to old tapes in your head. That's right, Darius. Don't listen to them. Keep going. Delores Jones, your comeback coach. Thank you for joining me on Facebook and YouTube. If you have not had the opportunity to, go over to YouTube. Well, you're here already, right? All right. And subscribe to Delores Jones TV. Thank you, Beverly Pierce. I want to shout her out for the wonderful support. She sent me something through my PayPal account, which is DoloresInspiresMe@yahoo.com. And I have to say there was another person, Dixon is the name, sent me something through Cash App. My Cash App is $my comeback coach. And I want to coach you. Yes, keep your eyes on the prize. Exactly. So I was sitting here and I was thinking about some things, and I have some things I want to share with you that you may not be aware of, Emma. Did you know that if somebody says to you, you can't do that, that another person has to say to you, you can do that 17 times? This is why it is so vitally important that you watch the company that you keep and watch the words that you speak. I felt that in my spirit. You must watch the company that you keep and monitor the words that you speak. For my church people, you already know that the power of life and death is in your own tongue. So I was just over at Research Hospital, and this gentleman came up to me, and we were starting having a good conversation. You know how people say, hey, you be like, hey, and you're trying to remember who they are, but they remember you anyway. Great conversation. And so I was telling him that I had pneumonia and corona at the same time. And he said, you know what? People need to start looking at the people who have survived. I said, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. So I started looking for videos of people who have survived. And you know what? I couldn't find any. So what happened? I made my own. That's why you were so important, because there's somebody who needs to hear from you. No, it's not a scam. And let me sidebar. Listen, if I put it out there and I say it, believe me, nobody else. My Cash App is $my comeback coach. That's all? Okay? All right. And we're back. When you hear one negative thing, you need 17 positives to cancel out the negative. Now listen, a study was done, and it showed that 87% of our negative self-talk did by our conscious mind. I'll say that again, Rodney. 85% of our negative self-talk is undetected by our unconscious mind. That's why you go, I don't even know why I did that. Why didn't I go through with that? Because there's some junk in your trunk. And you got to get the junk out your trunk. You have to program your mind for success. So during this video, I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that. And I'm going to share some stories that will encourage you to not listen to them and keep going. Go for your goal. Go for your dream. Now, your goals happen in two different places. Firstly, in your mind. You remember the choo-choo. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. We learned that in elementary. But then life happens and we get grown and we go around people and they start saying all kind of crazy stuff. And you have to consider the source. One time I went to see my son. I was picking him up from the mall. He was working. And his countenance, he was like, Mom. And he was very emotional. He was very angry. And he was teary-eyed. And I said, what happened? Well, I was telling them that I was going to California to this academy, and they start telling me, no, I wasn't. I said, who are they? I said, they ain't your mama. What did I tell you? You said I was going. Exactly. They don't know you. You just work with them. They trying to get their own. I said, and they your age. They're not as wise as I am. What did I tell you we're going to do? He said, I'm going. I said, well, all right then. You got to consider the source. Now, listen, sometimes the source of our problem happens when we're between 0 and 5. There's a company called MIT. They did a study. Now, check this out. The things that you hear, see, and begin to believe between the ages of 0 and 5 is what you expect of yourself, or you think about this is all there is. Now, for me, I got thinking about that because my mom, she was 21 when she passed away. I was 5 years old. So in that moment, I forgot what I looked like. I had low self-esteem, honey, low self-esteem. I wouldn't go outside without makeup. It was just horrible. I wasted some good years. And then one day, a cousin of mine gave me a picture of my mother that I did not have, of my mom holding me. And I looked at my mother and I said, that's my mama? I said, oh, honey, I'm going outside naked if I want to. Come through. All of a sudden I changed. But that didn't happen until I was in my 30s. You know how they say a picture is like 1,000 words? You got to monitor what you watch, what you're looking at, who you talking to. This is not a game. Don't listen to them. Keep going. There's a woman named Lisa Nichols. Now, Lisa Nichols is a multi-millionaire African-American woman. She has a company called Motivating the Masses. But prior to that, she was in school and one of her teachers said, don't you ever write again. You will be horrible. Now she has 4 bestsellers. And it was her grandmother that said these words to her. She said, Lisa, winners never quit and quitters never win. And so she was up for this at this swimming match, and she was usually the last person, and they put her in a competition with students that were older than she was because she missed her race. And her teacher said, oh, you can do it. Well, her grandmother was sitting there in the audience, and in Lisa's mind she said, winners never quit and quitters never win. So when the gun went off and she flew into the water, she said all she could think about was winners never quit and quitters never win. And next thing you know, she's going back and forth, making those laps. And what she's saying to herself is winners never quit and quitters never win. When she looked up, y'all, not only did she finish the race, she won the race. Why? Because it's in your mind first. I tell my son this all the time. I said, listen, I'm going to put something on your mind or your behind. I wanted him to start thinking. I said, I don't need to whip you. No. You are at an age, you are intelligent, and I'm going to show you how to think. Ladies, y'all know, wherever your mind is, that's where your behind is going to follow. That song said, your body is here with me, but your mind is on the other side of town. Y'all know what it's like. Hopefully you don't call nobody's name. Delores Jones, your comeback coach, is here on YouTube, Delores Jones TV, as well as Facebook. Hello to all of my wonderful people. Mr. Lacey, I see you. Yes. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Who are they? They're only as powerful as you allow them to be. I'm going to say that again. I felt that in my spirit right there. They are only as powerful as you allow them to be. See, there comes a point in your life when you get tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. And a person comes up to you and you say, who you talking to? You know, you get the attitude, who you talking to? I know you ain't talking to me. And some of us need to get that attitude. Who you talking to? I know you ain't talking to me. See, God has equipped you with everything you will ever need. The challenge is going through life untainted by uncertainty. And that's where you have to really find out what it is you really believe. Because some of us are walking around with old beliefs that no longer serve us. It's like the little girl who was in the kitchen with her grandmother and her mother and her great-grandmother. And her mother was cooking a roast, and her mother cut one end off the roast and this other end off the roast. And then her mom put it in the pan. But the little girl was noticing, and she said, Mom, why do you cut the ends off of both sides of the roast? Her mama says, well, that's because my mom cut the ends off the side of the roast. So she looked at her grandmother, why did you cut the ends off of both sides of the roast? She said, well, because my mama cut the ends on both sides of the roast. Well, the great-grandmother was there. She says, great-grandma, why did you cut the ends of the roast off? She said, baby, because my pan was not big enough. Do you know how much meat they wasted down through the year? Because no one bothered to ask the question, why? Why are you doing that? The first person you need to ask, why are you doing that, is yourself. Why am I doing that? Why am I limiting myself? Why? Because we focus on people's limitations. We hear about our limitations more than we hear about our possibilities. And that's why you have to program your mind for success. Now, listen to this. I want you to think about all the things you said. Well, so-and-so said I can't do this, and so-and-so said I can't do that. Why? You were listening to them. Now, what would happen if you started listening to something else that was about lifting you up, about telling you what you can do? There's a little boy on Facebook. His name is Little James. I love Little James. He'd be like, Mama, you doing too much. You doing too much. Little James is now a celebrity in his own little sweet way. He's about 4 or 5 years old, maybe 6. Today I was on YouTube, and his mother was teaching him the song, No Weapon Formed Against You. So she said, say it. He said, no weapon. She said, formed. He said, against me. And she said, he said, it ain't gonna work. She said, it ain't gonna work. He said, it's never gonna work. Period. I said, what? And he repeated it. This little boy. And so Keon, some other guy who's a musician, pulled the video up and made it a song. Yes. He said, it ain't gonna work. He said, no weapon. It ain't gonna work. It's never gonna work. Now, something inside of his little innocent soul that is not tainted believes what he believes. And the only way he would stop believing that is if somebody challenged him. And that's when we give up our power. Because somebody challenged me, because maybe they have more degrees than I have, or maybe they're the president of this, or the president of the ice cream committee, or maybe they're your pastor, or maybe they're your first lady. Let me tell you something. Titles don't mean a doggone thing. You need to listen for the truth, honey. The truth will make you free. The truth will set you free. Don't you get caught up like I did, trying to live out a fake prophecy and messed up my life. Lord have mercy, for 7 whole years. False prophets told me that I was supposed to marry somebody. And I'm getting ready to go away to college. That didn't even make sense. But you know what? I held onto that belief. And so although the guy cheated on me, I took him back. In fact, I married him. Why? Because although I was away in Columbia, Missouri, my mind was still thinking about that prophet lie. It was a prophet lie. And so I let him get over on me because I thought, if this is what God wants, then I'm going to tolerate it. God ain't in all that. You better wake up, honey. You better wake up right now. Listen, don't listen to them. You're listening to somebody, but don't listen to the people who tell you you can't do anything. You want to listen to somebody who is telling you who you are. You don't have to ask permission for anything. You just simply need to serve notice. And once I got strong enough and I realized who I really was, I remember I looked at my husband. That means he was my husband. I said, who the hell you talking to? Who you think you talking to? He's, I said, who do you think you talking to? And see, because he couldn't handle it, he lifted me up by my neck. Yes, he did. In the kitchen. Lifted me up over the sink by my neck. And before I knew it, I said, ninja, and y'all already know what the word is. I said, I will stab you. But I don't want to explain to our son why you got stabbed. And then the other thing was calling my name was my destiny. My destiny. I was like, Delores, you want to be like Oprah. Oprah Winfrey didn't go to the penitentiary. And so I got myself together, and he and I never talked about that situation, but it was okay because God kept talking to me. And I was like, you better than this. You got to get up out of this before you catch a case and mess up your destiny. And I got, ladies, I got quiet. Sometimes you talk too much. Sometimes you just talk too much. Don't tell your enemy what you get ready to do. I'm going to leave your trifling self. Ain't nobody going to want you. You don't need to hear all that. I didn't talk to him and tell him what I was doing. He didn't know I was leaving until I was walking out the door with my baby. He said, where you going? I said, I'm leaving. No, I said, listen, sir, step to the side. I'm leaving with my baby. And I left. And I never went back. Now, sometimes we become foolish. I've been in the situation where you leave and you go back and you leave and y'all know it's maybe that thing that he do. Girl, please. If his penis is made of platinum, y'all need to sell that thing right there. Yes. Delores Jones is my name. I'm your comeback coach. I keep it candid and I keep it real. No more dumb stuff, as my book says. Dumb stands for destructive, unsettling, miserable behavior. You are in the driver's seat. Just like I'm driving this SUV. You don't let anybody come up in your life. You let anybody come to your house and start rearranging the furniture. I don't like your couch over there. I think we're going to put it over here. No. Back in the day, your grandmother, they would put plastic on it. Because you ain't going to bring your little nappy head, dirty kids up in here on my furniture. Like, can we take the plastic off? No. They were protecting it. They were protecting what is important. Your mind is important. What do you watch at night before you go to sleep? The news? Baby, let me tell you something. As a former news reporter, TV, this is the motto. If it bleeds, it leads. That's it. You don't even expect anything. And then what we're going to do when we get the story at 5, we rewrite it for the 6 o'clock. And if necessary, we will rewrite it for the 10 o'clock. Yes. You got to protect your spirit. How do you begin to program your mind for success? Well, what are you listening to? What are you listening to? Who are you listening to? Why are you listening? People don't know this. I don't answer the phone before 10 o'clock. I don't do business before 10 o'clock. Listen, y'all can leave a message because I need my time with God. I need to get my spirit right. I need to get my motivation on because the motivator needs a motivator. So I'm listening to Les Brown, or I'm listening to Mel Robbins, or I'm listening to Tony Robbins, or I'm listening to E.T., or I'm listening to this one and I'm listening to that one. Why? Because I'm on a mission. And if I'm feeling some kind of way, then I need to find someone that is speaking to my issue. Today, I have been looking. Today I have listened to Les Brown at least 5 hours. Why? Because when I get in my car, I'm listening to it. I'm not on there. I don't need the radio, baby. I was a radio personality. Ain't nothing he can do for me right now. We are in critical times, people. Someone told me to tell you to like and share this video. Can you like and share this video? Don't listen to them. Keep going. They don't get to decide how blessed you will be. The devil is a lie, and his big old crazy looking cousin is too. You know his cousins: doubt, fear, anxiety. But baby, when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, listen, ladies, listen to this. Listen to this. You know we will fight a bear over our children. Why? Because we love them. Now, how about you start to love yourself like that? How about you start to love yourself like that? What would happen if you decided to love yourself as much as you love your children? I love Jesus, but I'm not Jesus. I said, baby, you better try Jesus. Don't try me. Jesus will save you. I will slap the taste out your mouth if the Holy Ghost don't keep me. And sometimes I don't listen to the Holy Ghost. I go straight home he goes. But nobody listen. No, what's that commercial? Nobody better lay a finger on my butterfinger. Listen, if I get a call about somebody doing something to my son, it's on and popping, baby. It's on and popping. And I love Jesus. And I'm saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. Do speak in tongues as the Spirit gives utterance, but I ain't no punk, and you better not mess with my baby. That's all I got to say about that. Make sure you like and share this video. I really would appreciate it, because you know somebody needs to hear this. Somebody needs to know. Shut the naysayers out. Don't listen to them. Keep going. You're on a mission. Destiny means destination. You're supposed to be someplace. You're supposed to be someplace. What you waiting on? Well, as soon as the kids grow up, baby, listen. I would put that baby on my back if I had to. Well, as soon as I get my divorce. Okay, you've been in hell for about 25 years. Why are you waiting another year? Just think about it. Why? Because people are afraid. What are they afraid of? The unknown. When it was time for me to leave, I remember saying, God, well, what if he leaves me? God said, but I'll be with you. Like I told you from the beginning, I will never leave you nor forsake you. And here's the thing. When we get into these rough places, I want you to think about this. You don't just sit and listen to the word just to be listening. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty through God to the pulling down of the strongholds and everything that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God. You got to work with what you got. You better milk that scripture. Listen, Delores, I don't know the whole Bible. I didn't tell you to know the whole Bible. I told you to know what you need to know and know it all to pieces when you need to know it. My first scripture was, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I was in high school. I was at Pleasant Green Baptist Church. The late Pastor David L. Gray. We would have to repeat after him. He said, repeat after me. We say, I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. Because if God said, I can do it. That was my foundation. By 17, I'm homeless, but ain't nothing changed. God got the same address. See, what happens is we change. But when you decide to recognize that really, as Hezekiah Walker said, power belongs to God, and you are their child, you're his child, and that it's your inheritance, and that you have access, and that God knows your cry. See, it could be 1 million kids, but I knew my son's cry. I said, wait a minute, that's Ricky. That's Ricky. I even know my dog Bella's bark. I said, wait a minute, that's Bella. Why? Because we're in relationship. And Ricky has access to me. Why? Because I'm his mother. I'm his mother. He has access to me. It's in the bloodline. But what happens, y'all? We get distracted because people got their fine offices, you know. I'm scared of my boss. I said, I don't have a boss. I got one boss. His name is God. You my supervisor. And see, what happens is when you really recognize who you are, you start walking differently. You don't go begging for jobs. I had an interview today. And I walked up in Research Hospital and I got to talking to the lady and I noticed that I wasn't begging for anything. I said, I tell you what, if I'm the fit that you want, that's fine. If you want somebody else, that's wonderful. I just want to see you win. And I walked on up out of there. Because what God has for you is for you. You get to decide if you want it or not. You don't want this? You know, you ever bought your kid something and the kid be like, I don't want that. And you like, you little ungrateful. And you take it back to the store. Oh, yes, I will. Oh, girl, he didn't. Oh, honey, you tell me you don't want it. And I worked hard to buy it. It's going back to the store. What happened? Mama, where is it? I took it back to the store. Why'd you do that? You were ungrateful. What would happen if all of a sudden you had this conversation with God, like right now? God, my life is, it's going some kind of way. And I'm wondering if this is your will. He says, no, that's not my will. It's what you settled for. Come on, somebody, and get excited. Because today, like right now, you have options. You get to change. You get to decide again. You get to choose hope, peace, love, power. Or you can stay in your little pity party, drinking your pitiful punch, telling your pitiful story to other pitiful people. I'm not coming to your party. Why not? I can't support that. And you need people in your life to say, I'm not coming to your pity party because there is greatness inside of you. Why are you saying that? Because there is. Maybe you're blind to it right now, but when God gives you something, he don't change his mind because somebody else don't like it. That's why listen, have you ever really thought about why you're up against so much opposition? It's like certain people, you be like, dang, Lord, they ain't never got no problems. Well, you're a powerhouse. You're a powerhouse. He fighting you hard because you're a powerhouse. Do you think for 1 minute somebody who is against you is going to stand there and tell you how awesome you are? No, because they want to control you. Not today, devil, not now, not never, never again. You should have killed me when you had me. Come on, somebody. I know I ain't talking to myself. I'm talking to you. Jeffrey, Greg, I'm talking to you. Melissa. Delores Jones is my name. I'm your comeback coach. I show you how to bounce back better, not bitter. You are going to go through things, baby. And if you go through the furnace, at least come out on fire. And they're going to wake up and say, what happened to Lori? Girl, I don't know, but I need to find out. Whatever she's drinking, I want that. No, whoever she's listening to. You ever met a girl who had a father? I know one, she's beautiful. Her name is Elizabeth. We call her Lizzie. And Lizzie would walk around church like this. And one day I was like, where did she get all this confidence? And she said, every day my daddy told me I was beautiful. Every day my daddy told me I could do anything. And her father lived to be like 90 something years old. So can you imagine every day she was told how beautiful she was? I was like, wow, I wish I had that. But I do. I have a heavenly father who is trying to tell me how awesome I am. Let me confess something to y'all. There have been days where I have been depressed. Why? Because it's just something that I go through because life happens. And I don't get dressed when I get depressed. But I don't do it as often as I used to. See, that's progress, right? And so I'm walking around, I'm moping, I ain't doing that. And then on the day that I decide to get in the shower, to put my clothes on, and I look at myself and go, girl, you a bad mama jamma. We have to constantly remind ourselves of who we are. What you do is not who you are. You are a beautiful reflection of God's power. That's who you are. What you do is your job. But who you are? Honey, please. Are you getting this? Well, like it and share it for me. And go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Delores Jones TV, and hit notification right there. That way, when I'm live, we're live together and we're learning together. I will speak into your life and over your life. And I'm going to do it with conviction. Why? Because I know what it's like not to have positivity around me. And I know how many years I wasted listening to people who didn't have my best interests at heart. Listen, baby, I hope your whole family loves you, but people have issues. Everybody got their own issues. Some of us don't want to accept it, but it shows up. You be like, girl, she got problems. I don't think she took her medication, because some people do need medication because maybe the chemical imbalances are in your brain. I have to take some. Now, some people say, I knew it. This is the drug. No, it ain't the drugs. This is called deliverance. Because what people don't understand is if you're taking antidepressants, they don't make you better. They just mean that it quiets something where you can start to focus. But if you don't put it in, what's going to come out? Now, I'm getting ready to check somebody right here on my Facebook and YouTube. Sir, whomever you are with this messy message about $5,000, you are going to be blocked. And do not come back on my channel ever again. I will report you. Okay? And you know who I'm talking to. All right? Cola Pa, Azaza, whatever your name is. I bind you. Goodbye. Don't you come on my page with no foolishness now. Here, y'all, let me get rid of this joker. Boom. If you ain't heard it from me, don't you send nothing. I don't need anybody on here trying to milk people. See, that's what happens. You start getting what you're trying to get and you feeling good, and then a distraction comes up. And then you got to check the distraction. You be like, I ain't going that way. I'm not about to play with you. I am not about to play with you. Don't listen to them. Keep going. And can we be honest? When you've been in crazy relationships, isn't it crazy how you'll be getting ready to do something and you'll hear something the crazy person said to you? Like, oh my God. Well, you know how you go to the store and you see something and you know what the real price is, but it brings up something different. And so you have to call the manager over there. And then you tell the manager, this said that this was this, but it's ringing up this. And the manager takes their little key and they say, okay, how much is it supposed to be? And they, do it. And then they push the override. You got to learn how to override that foolishness. I don't live there anymore. And if they come to bring you your past, the word says, let the redeemed of the Lord say so. You be like, so? Now what? See, when anybody thinks that they have it over you, because you don't want them to tell your dirt. Everybody got dirt, girl. Somebody got a skeleton in the closet. Everybody got skeletons. I just start telling on myself. Yes, I just tell on myself. The Lord said, you do? Absolutely, I did. Now what? Why is that important to you? Well, you ain't got to be so sassy. Baby, this is a life or death situation. I have to move myself along. Y'all, do y'all know in 2 days, I will be 50 years old? I'll be half of a century. My niece reminded me that. 50. I looked I said, Lord, what have I been doing for these last 50 years? You've been doing what other people wanted you to do. You've been afraid that there are going to be people who ain't going to follow you on Facebook no more. And that used to hurt my feelings. It really did. Because you think the people you start out with are the people you're going to get finished. They're going to fit. But see, some people want to hear it the way they want you to tell it. But you got to tell it the way you're supposed to tell it. And in the meantime, if there's something that's going to be improved, it will happen. But that used to bother me. When I would go back and erase my videos, some of the best videos, I went back and erased them. Why? Because, dang it, I said that, and so-and-so said I shouldn't have said that. And are you living for everybody else? Because I know everybody else ain't living for you. Where's the money? I'm going to make it rain in here on myself. I'm about to make it rain in here on myself. Come on, make it rain. Now, if you want to help make it rain, you can go to my Cash App. $ my comeback coach, or PayPal, Delores Inspires Me at yahoo.com. I'm going to wrap this up. But I want you to go back. I want you to like it and share the video, please. Just like it and share the video. You never know what somebody needs to hear. Do you know sometimes you could share something with somebody and it saves their lives? It reminds me of a story that one day I was at the TV station. Now, what people didn't understand is I would have so much anxiety the week before my appearance. I was like, why would they want to listen to you, Delores? Well, I mean, nobody else listens to you. I mean, you were told that kids should be seen and not heard. Well, you're not a kid anymore. And that little girl in me, the Dee Dee in me, who lost her mom when she was 5, she's, can we really? I would show up at the TV station like, oh my God. Okay, somebody's going. It's called the imposter syndrome. You don't think you belong there because somebody done lied to you. And I'd go up in that TV station and I would go, okay, calm down, Delores. You can do this. And then I give my little spiel, 5, 6, 7, 5 minutes, and then they said, girl, we're going to have to keep bringing you back. And then I got my own segment every Monday for 2 years. But every day, every time, I don't know why. I think it's because of that 87% of that negativity that is not detected by your conscience will come up. But when you start to recognize it, now you can address it. What did Iyanla say? You can't heal what you won't reveal. You go to the doctor, they ask you, tell me what you're experiencing. What are the symptoms? And then they diagnose you. And they say, okay, for this, then here, this is what you need to do. And we take the medicine medicine all the time, when actually you can change your diet. But sometimes people have to get to that point of no return where you feel like I ain't got nothing else to lose. So one day I go to the TV station and I did something about shame. And I had spent the entire week reading other people's stuff and it wasn't clicking. Dr. Brene Brown, shame. She's been with Oprah. I was like, well, let me read her book, Lord. Let me talk about shame. And it wasn't clicking. It said, no, I want you to dance with the one who's brought you. I brought you. I taught you about shame. So now I need you, when you go on TV, I want you to talk about it. And the biggest secret that I had, that I was afraid to tell everybody, was that my mother was deceased. And so that day, for the first time in my career, I took a picture of my mother, Marianne Jones, and I allowed them to show it on TV. Because growing up, they never talked about my mother. I have 2 brothers, and we're just like, well, if she disappeared, then I guess if y'all ain't gonna talk about her, then we're an extension of who she is. And that was my shame. I was ashamed to admit that my mother was gone because I grew up a certain way, right? And so in order to go with this particular program, I could not really acknowledge who my mother was. I was blessed to be raised by my grandmother, who really believed in the power of education and how to dress her butt off, right? But she was my grandmother. But I would say, that's my mom. And I know she meant well. She never wanted me or my two brothers to feel as if we didn't have a mother. But I had to tell Mom, I said, Mom, there are people who are proud to have grandmothers. Jamie Foxx was raised by his grandmother. Ricky Smiley was raised by his grandmother. So it's okay to acknowledge where you really are. I'm proud to be Marianne Jones's daughter. She was 21 when she passed away. She died of a heroin overdose. I can relate to Bobby Christina in the Whitney Houston story. But I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to go that way. You have an option. When people get on drugs and alcohol, it's called self-medicating. But when you go to a doctor, they just call it a prescription. The goal is to feel better without creating another problem. I'm going to say that again. The goal is for you to feel better without creating another problem. You can drown out your sorrows, but they're still going to be there when you're back sober. So why not go through the process of dealing with it? So I told that story on TV. Millions of people. People in the family, they weren't feeling it. But I'm like, I got to tell my truth. I got to stand in my truth. Because this lie that I've been living or these regulations, it's not helping me. Because now I'm confused. I'm like, who can I really be? And it would show up. And people be like, who are you, Delores, really? Are you Delores, the Drive Time Diva? Are you Delores, the praise and worship leader? Are you Delores, the talk show host? I was so confused. It was like multiple personalities. Why? Because I am trying to please multiple people. But that's not what it's about. So one young woman who saw that story was getting ready to commit suicide. And she contacted the person who sent her the video. And she said, you mean to tell me that the comeback coach, she buried her mother? Are you serious? And then when she was 17, she was living in an abandoned home because craziness was happening. No water, no lights. You mean she was living in a motel when she started college? Junior college? You mean to tell me that one? The one with the big hair, the big smile, the big personality? And it was like, yeah. And the person said, well, I don't want to kill myself. I don't have to kill myself. I don't have to kill myself. That's why you have to keep going. People are looking for hope. And your story, just your story, could make the difference between life and death. And they don't even have to know you to be blessed by what it is you're supposed to give. So stop listening to them. Listen to the divine. Listen to everything that is going to position you to be great. And if other people have a problem with it, just leave them with the asses. Because some people you have to leave with the asses. Remember when, was it Moses who was supposed to go up and sacrifice his son? And they said, well, can we go with you? He said, no, y'all stay here with the asses. Some people you got to leave with the asses because you don't have time to listen to them. You got to be able to hear what God is telling you to do. You have to be able to trust. You don't have time to entertain people's asinine questions. Well, why would you go and do that? Well, why would God tell you to do that? I don't know if God would want you to do that. I don't think they're going to like if you do that. I don't think the pastor wants you to do that. Oh my God, what is your mom going to think of you? And you know you ain't happy. So you want to get your happy back? Find a ritual every day, morning, noon, and night, that you listen to something positive and you eat it. You just eat it. You just try it for 30 days. They say it takes 21 days to make a new habit. So try 21 days of just listening to positivity, morning, noon, or night. Put it in your car. Put it on your phone and just keep listening. Just keep listening. I can hear Les Brown in my head even when I'm not watching him. And I'm hearing his stories and I'm laughing because I can relate. And Les Brown's like in his 70s, but he's still talking about when he was born to a single mother, him and his twin brother, Wesley. And they were born in a house on a wooden floor. And Mrs. Mamie Brown adopted them when they were 6 years old. And their mother left them. he was considered developmentally retarded. So when he would go to school with his brother Wesley, Wesley was known as the smart one, but they called Les Brown DT. Why? What's DT? The dumb twin. But Mr. Jackson, Mr. Washington at the school said, young man, don't you ever say that again. He said, nobody's opinion of you has to become your reality. And he distracted him. And then he disputed it. And he started putting Les in plays and giving speeches. And then when Les's mother would go clean rich white people's houses, there was one particular family in particular that Les would shine the man's shoes. And why did he want to shine his shoes? Because the man was always listening to something positive. And he said, why is that boy taking all this time shining the shoes? He wanted to spend more time listening to the people who were changing their lives for the better. And now guess what? Les Brown can stand on stage and make more in 1 hour than a great majority of people in the world. That's right. Can you imagine going on stage and you are speaking for $150,000 for an hour? And then he was paid. he was paid $8 million by PBS for a special. Now listen, devil, you gonna stop coming on my page trying to take my viewers to some Cash App thing. Just the devil. It's just the devil. But anyway, y'all, I got to go vote. It's my turn to vote. But I want you to stop listening to the naysayers and people who were just coming to rob you of your personality and your energy. Them energy drainers. They'll just suck you dry. They'll just suck you dry. You ever been around somebody and when you leave, you're like, oh my God. And some people in your family be like, oh Jesus. You see them? Did you see them call them? Just put them in voicemail. Yeah, I can't do her right now. Because you got one life to live. You can't try to live everybody else's life. You not problem solvers from Channel 5. No, you got to work on your own self. And anybody who really loves you, they want to see that. So if you tell people no, which is a complete sentence, and they walk away, let them walk. Let them walk. Because they weren't with you in the first place. Because you got to be able to take a no. And not get an attitude. No, I cannot pay your bills this month. Let's look at why you can't pay your own bills. Oh, you ain't down. I said, I don't give a care. I don't care. You grown. Why don't you have a job? I'm not getting ready to stop everything I'm doing to come and rescue you. I said, the only thing I owe you, I might owe you a kick in the ass. That's it. That's it. And yes, I said kick in the ass. I don't owe you nothing. I don't owe you nothing. You're not God. You didn't wake me up this morning. Maybe you helped. Maybe you were a resource, but God is the source, as Denzel Washington says. Anyway, y'all, I'm done. I mean, I'm really not done, but I'm stopping. So that you can take this all in and you can, eat it little by little. This is probably one of my longer videos, but I just want I want to drive that point home. I want you to think about that. Winners never quit and quitters never win. Don't listen to them. Keep going. Keep going. Along the way, somebody's going to see you. The person going in the same direction. Don't listen to them. Keep going. Delores Jones is my name. Delores Jones, the comeback coach, the author of the book, Stop the Dumb Stuff, that you'll be able to get in book form, hopefully this week. That's my goal, is for you to be able to get it ebook. You can just download it, whatever you're going to do. All right. Delores Jones TV, Facebook, YouTube, Delores Jones TV, hit the notification button. Boom, there it is. Like and share the video. You just never know who needs it. Cash App, my Cash App is $ my comeback coach. Don't listen to any of these other people. Don't listen to none of these other crazy people. Okay? I'm not trying to lead you astray. Ain't no future in your front. There's nothing. Why I wouldn't benefit, trying to get over on you. That's not what I'm about. I'm trying to get something to you so that you can be the very best you that you can be. There's greatness in you, not garbage. But if you sitting there listening to somebody with garbage in, what's going to come out? Garbage or garbage. You ain't got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Take that on down the street, boo. You change. Absolutely. I'm changing my mind. I'm changing my address. I changed my panties. I changed my draws. And I've changed my circle of friends. Why? Because I'm going in a completely different direction. When you're going in a different direction, the conversations in your crowd is going to change. It's going to change. But you got to decide where you want to go. Now, I got to go. I got to go vote. I hope you voted. And I don't know whom you voted for, but just exercise your right to vote. And whoever's in the White House, they're going to be in the White House. But my concern is that God is in my house. Because at the end of the day, God is in control. Now go do what you're supposed to be doing. Go ahead. And then inbox me and let me know how it went. I expect greatness from you. And watch the video 17 times or whatever. Put it on repeat. I expect greatness from you. You can do this. 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 You've got to do this. You must do this. Do it. And fix it. Do it when it's not perfect. You can go back and improve it. But you got to do it. You'll never be great if you don't get started. You don't have to be great to get started. But if you don't get started, you'll never be great. That's it. Paid for by Delores Jones, the comeback coach. Talk to y'all later. Mwah.